Good morning and welcome to Win the Day. This is a video, blog, and podcast where you guys can get tips to grow your business. I am Tanika D'Souza, the 100K Challenge Chick, and my mission and objective is to empower women to break the 100K income ceiling in their businesses. So I'm super excited to talk about this topic today, not because it's an exciting topic, but because it has to be addressed. In the last few days, I guess maybe in the last week, I've talked to several of you who are what I'm going to say struggling in the area of time management. And some of you, I believe it just really caught you off guard, right? And to be honest with you, that's what life of a small business can feel like a lot, right? We feel like we've made plans, and because it's just us or because our team is very small, anything that happens just throws us off track. So what I've been hearing and what I've been dealing with is, there are some people who are clients of mine, so we can dive in, because for my clients, I don't deal with the excuse. We just get right on track, even for the fact that one person in my coaching session, it was group coaching, the mentorship group, 100K Society. And she has been saying she's going to do something for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I said, okay, you didn't get it done. I don't think this is going to take you a lot of time. So for the rest of this meeting, you can turn your camera off, but you're going to do that research. You're going to find what you're looking for, and you're going to take the first 2 steps on it. And for her, it was finding some resources on LinkedIn, figuring out where she's going to connect with some people. But I got her to do it right then. And she did. And she reported that she did more than she wrote down that she was going to do for the last 2 weeks. So I get it. Like, things happen, and you start to feel like, okay, I'm balancing this business, I'm balancing my family, I'm balancing like real life. And that can be really tough. I know that is the reason why I really started doing this business coaching, is because I felt like I wasn't balancing my life really well before. And I had to learn and understand what it took to manage my time well, to manage my staff well, to be a really great leader and a manager for my business. And as I did that, and I was showing other people how to do the same, all of us were a lot more profitable. We had a lot less stress in our life. Like, everything just started to turn around. And I realized that was what I really enjoyed doing, not necessarily the other businesses that I was running. So I started to focus my time more specifically on business coaching. I've been in business for 13 years, right? So time management for me has looked very different over the years, and it looks very different now because my life is different. And so I do want you to understand that if this was something you were super great at years ago, when circumstances in your life change, so does your techniques toward time management, right? Even as the seasons change, you have to adjust your schedule, adjust your expectations, but also just keeping in mind that especially when you are a small team or just you, there's just a lot to get done, and it's all about prioritizing. So we're going to jump into this topic. So as I was telling you guys, there were several people that I talked to in the last week, really, and they're just struggling with the time management. So I thought, okay, great. Since this is a common topic right now with people that I'm speaking to, then this clearly is something that a lot more people are struggling with right now. So let's address it. So let's see, what category do you guys fall into, right? And maybe you haven't yet decided that what you're struggling with is time management, but I want to hear where you guys are. And if you're joining me live on Facebook, you can comment. I'm going to look at my studio to see if I can see the comments. Okay, awesome. So if you are there, you can say hi, but it's not going to show your name unless you put your name in the comment. So if you want me to address you, then you have to write your comment and then put your name as well. But either way, all right, I want to know where you guys fall right now. There are some of you, because of what we went through in 2020, you could not wait until 2021, all the stuff you were going to do, especially for the summer. Literally, there's like a lot of people talk about they're going to summer like they have never summered before, right? So if that's you, raise your hand, and I am raising my hand on that. Because I do like to be home. I like to be to myself sometimes, but oh my goodness, I have a season pass to the amusement park this year. I have been to I don't know how many cities already, and I still have more to go. But I was just like, we're not leaving this summer without just like going in. So if that's you, are you just summering like you have never summered before? Or if you're watching this as a replay, are you just in a season where it's like, look, I realize that I don't have this opportunity often, and I'm trying to take advantage of everything that is going on right now in my life? So if that's you, you can just raise your hand in the chat or say, hey, that's me. That's totally what I'm doing. For some of them, when I ask them what is going on and why they feel like they can't manage everything, they tend to tell me about all these projects that other people have going on. They tell me about their cousin's book release and somebody's music tour and someone launching a course and something, a big thing happening at their church. And I'm not at all saying that those things aren't important. But what I do want you to recognize is that you have allowed somebody else's business to be the priority over your own. There's absolutely ways that you can contribute, help, and be a part of somebody else's business. But when it comes down to you just taking your goals and throwing them in the trash because you're helping someone else, you have to recognize that that's what you've done. So if you're in that place where you feel obligated to help other people, or because they're so close to their success that you're helping them go all in. And I'm not going to lie, I've done it before in my life where I realized, crap, I'm spending all my time with this. I'm not getting my own stuff done. But if that's where you are, where your life has basically been taken over by something else, and it could be your kids, right? My son is going into his senior year of high school. He's an athlete. This is my only athlete child. So literally we spent the summer going to schools, visiting colleges, doing a ton of football camps, and it was all for him to receive offers from schools so that he can go to college and play football. But that was a complete commitment as a parent to be there and to be active and to, participate in what he was doing. So if you realize at this point that what you're doing is basically all about somebody else's objective, I want you to put that in the comments. All right. And then for others of you, you may have some objectives and goals and things like that, but because you're a solopreneur or because your team is small, you just don't get it done. Like you literally allow the day to suck up all of your time. Before you know it, you have done laundry, cooked some meals, ran some errands, and then you come back, you're doing more meal prep or whatever else, and there's just no time. You're not getting it done, and you also feel that it can get done tomorrow. But then you say that week after week after week, like, okay, I'll get to it eventually. Right? And that is a problem with a lot of solopreneurs because you don't have somebody else that is holding you accountable. You don't have somebody else that's waiting on you to finish your part so that they can get their stuff done, right? So you end up procrastinating. You end up putting it off. You end up not prioritizing what needs to be prioritized because you think that it doesn't really matter. However, the problem is when you aren't doing the things that you're supposed to do, whether it's because you're summering like you've never summered, whether it's because you are allowing other people to be your priority and it's not you, or if you just have been lazy, let's just put it that way. The problem is when you're not doing the things you're supposed to do, like writing those blogs, posting reels, going live, keeping up with your podcast, keeping up with your blog, talking to your group members, posting on your business page, whatever it is, right? When you are not paying attention to your audience, one, they'll leave. Two, you're not growing that audience. And ultimately, if there is something you're trying to sell or promote or do with your audience, you're going to have fewer people to promote to, and you're slowing down your momentum. You're ultimately slowing down your sales. So when you think of it that way, it's like, okay, what can I do then that's going to help me stay on track, enjoy my summer, enjoy my family, help support people, but then also make sure that I'm getting my stuff done. So, as I mentioned before, I'm not sure where exactly it is that you guys struggle, right? You're welcome to share that in the comments. You can even type in replay. And if you're on the podcast, clearly you're just listening in, but I still want you to be thinking about this, is it doesn't matter what has caused you to get off track. It's likely a time management issue being the reason why you're off track, right? So time, I guess let's back up a little bit. Time management, according to Indeed.com, which I was browsing this morning, is the process of organizing and planning how to divide your time between specific activities, right? So good time management enables you to work smarter, not harder, and it helps you to get things done in less time, right? So you're working smarter, you're working more efficiently. And even when time is tight and there's high pressure, you understand what is important and you're prioritizing getting those things done. So the reason I went to like a job board is because there are people who hire for time management. And so you have to understand the skills, you have to understand the priority of time management and why that's so important to companies. So I wanted to use their different definition because I want you to start taking yourself seriously as a business, right? If you had to hire for this, if you had to put someone in place to really help with the time management of your business, these are the things that they would be doing. They would be organizing, planning. Well, actually, let me go through a list because I found a list. So time management is the inclusion of all of these things, right? It's organizing. So staying organized can help you maintain a clear picture of where you are in your business and what still needs to be completed. Number two, prioritizing, right? So if you are the person who is doing things for everybody else and not yourself, if you managed your time better, you would prioritize your things, get your things done, and then be able to move forward to help others with the time that you have, right? You don't give them your time for your business. You create a time outside of your business working hours to help them. Are there times where you may have to cut back on what you're doing for yourself so that you can propel someone else? Absolutely. However, I want you to do that consciously. I don't want your business coach to be the one to say, hey, what's going on? You keep moving your goals over week by week and you're not getting it done. And your reason is, well, I'm helping this book launch. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And nothing is about you and nothing is about moving your business ahead. So while you're prioritizing someone else, you are literally just shooting yourself in the foot. So in those cases, especially if they're my clients, I can help them think about how they can prioritize to put their business first and still get these other things done. Number three is goal setting. What are the goals? What are you trying to accomplish, right? And the thing is, I do want you to take into account that when your life situation changes, you can change the goals. You can change what you're doing and what you plan to accomplish based on the time you have, the circumstance you're in. But what I don't want you to do is decide, okay, this thing is happening, whether it's mourning the loss of a loved one, unexpected travel, unexpected illness, whatever it is. I don't want you to just say, okay, that thing happened, so clearly I can't get anything done. I want you to set out what are the few things I still can do and set a goal for that. Communication. How are you communicating with your team, with your audience? All of those things, like even building up your communication in your business is super important. So communication, to be honest, is a much bigger topic that we would have to dive into. But part of time management is also how you're communicating, how you're organizing that, how you're organizing like your email systems to your clients, how you're communicating, how you're promoting. That's such a big category. Next is planning. For a lot of us, we prioritize, we organize ourselves, we set some goals, but we don't put decent plans in place. And that ultimately will kill your time every single time. If you have an objective and you're just working randomly to achieve it, you're not maximizing your time because there's no plan. So planning is super important. Delegating is another aspect of time management where you're going to decide, what can I pass off to someone else? I had to learn that passing things off secured my time to do the things that only I can do, right? Only I can coach my clients. Only I right now can run my membership group. So what are the things that I can delegate? I can delegate editing these videos. I can delegate creating graphics. I can delegate actually making sure my posts are going up on my social media account. That's a job all by itself, right? So understanding that there's a lot of things going on, but I don't have to personally try to do every single piece is huge, right? I do believe that you have to grow to, one, trust your systems and then trust your team. And I now hire people who I can go to and say, this is what I'm planning to do. How can you help me get this done? And they come to me with a plan, with a system, and we talk it through and pick from what they did. So I'm also delegating a lot of research in my business to others. They're clearly understand my brand, my mission, what I'm trying to do. But the point is, I had to mature to that place. I initially didn't want anybody doing stuff for my brand because it was my brand, my name. And if they messed it up, it was a reflection on me. But I had to also realize I can't do everything, and I want to grow, and I want to stop playing small. So delegation was the key for me. Stress management. Oh my goodness. I talk about stress management all the time because especially as moms, as wives, as daughters, we just carry so much for everybody else, right? So the stress management is a big point, and I do not want you to neglect yourself in building your business. And I do want you to be aware of your stress. So sometimes we are thrown off with our time management because we're not managing our stress, and we don't realize how much of our time is being eaten up by all the stress and the stress related activity that we do. And then finally, setting short and long-term goals, right? If you understood that if I get this done today, long-term, this is what it means for me, then a lot of you would stick to your short-term goals. You wouldn't just allow time to pass, other people to take all of your time and attention, and you wouldn't summer like you've never summered and neglect your business, right? There are ways that you can do both. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Out of all the things that I've mentioned, your absolute first step is setting some goals, right? I want you to think of your time management as this is the goal I set for this time frame, and I'm committed to getting it done. So set the goals, whatever they are. The thing that I'll tell you is for some moms, as I'm talking to them, they didn't go into the summer preparing to manage themselves as if it were summer, right? So they just got the kids back in school. They just started getting back to about 4 dedicated hours to their business every day. And it was great. Things were going well. And now the kids are home and you have become a short order cook. You're managing lots of laundry. You're trying to do family activities. You're planning trips. Like all these things are now on your plate. And that 4 hours a day is impossible. So in those cases, if you have had to change from a 4 hours a day to now like 4 hours a week, then make sure you've set your goals appropriately. What I don't want you to do is just say, screw it, forget the summer, I can't get anything done because the kids are home, and that is your reason. I want you to recognize you still have to find maybe an hour a day to get some things done, to keep the needle moving forward, and to also keep you in a momentum of focusing on your business. So I'll share with you guys what I have done. I don't at all propose to have been perfect at this or anything, but this summer, literally, my kids were done school June 10th, and we hit the road June 11th. Like, we were playing 0 games with getting in front of colleges for my son, him attending these football camps. And I think he attended 13 camps between June and July. And that's the middle of June to July, to pretty much the middle of July. So like every week there was like 2 to 3 camps. It was insane because they were all in different cities. And it wasn't like we could just plan like, okay, well, this makes sense to go here, then here, then here. It was like here, go south, go back north. And we just figured, okay, is it drivable distance from the place you were yesterday? If so, we can make it. But that just takes a lot. Like that means I'm sitting in the car, I'm driving for several hours. So that was a lot. But what I will tell you is prior to knowing that this was the time frame to do all of this, I knew I would have to do it, but I had no idea it was going to be 13 schools in like 4 or 5 weeks, right? So the thing that I had planned for my business was to launch my membership group. And I did. I launched it right from a hotel room. And some of that was because I set up previous programs that when you do my signature course, you go into the membership group because that's where we execute. We have weekly accountability. You set a plan in place. I had you do the deep dive into your brand of your business, how you're going to scale your business, how you're going to make that 100K. And so I needed you to have a place where you're going to execute that plan, right? I know what it felt like to be new to business and people just say, okay, here you go, here's the plan. But then while I'm actually executing the plan and working on it, no one's there. So I never wanted that for my clients. So I already knew their course ends here. That membership has to start within the next 2 weeks after that. So I couldn't change that time frame. I literally planned it, created a membership group, a team that to help me build this membership. We got some other staff on board, but I started to delegate. I started to say, this has to get done. This has a hard deadline. And even if I'm out of town, even if I'm traveling, this has to get done. The day of the launch, I was literally on a college tour at my son's like top prospect school. And I am answering questions because people are like excited to join us for the launch party that night, but they hadn't paid yet. And now it's the day of, and they want to make sure if I pay right now, am I still going to have access? And I'm telling them, yes, come join us. It's going to be awesome. On a tour, on a college tour, because you know what? I knew my clients needed me at that time. I knew my son needed me at that time. So I was appropriate. When we took a little break or took a little pause on the college tour, I pulled out my phone, I answered 1 or 2 questions, and I put it back. And I paid attention on the college tour. I talked to my son. I made sure he was getting what he needed from his parents at that time. But I didn't allow my business I didn't allow myself to say, who cares that it's launch day, or who cares that my launch is coming up? I still did what I needed to do to make that launch happen. So it didn't happen in the grand way that I wanted it to, because I didn't have the time that I thought to dedicate to the marketing of it. Right. And then even after, I was still on the road. I spent way more days on the road than sitting still and working. But I'm still talking to people, coaching them every single week in that membership group. I didn't allow the summer to eat up my entire plan. And even though I'm telling you, we traveled, I'm launching this business group, I still have to find time for my family. I still have to be a mom. I still have to be a wife. I still have to absolutely just turn this business off and focus on them, because they are absolutely the priority in my life, right? So I don't want you to feel like, because you don't have the best handle on your time management today, that means you're just screwed and everything is just bad. That's not how this story has to end, right? The story doesn't have to end at all, but I do want you to understand the importance of managing your time, prioritizing, and all of this starts with your goals. So if you're listening to this and you have been off track, I want you to take the next few minutes to just write down, okay, I have been off track. And what I like to call it is, what is your date that you're drawing a line in the sand where you're going to say, okay, all the days prior to September 1st or August 15th, whatever date you pick, I wasn't focused, I wasn't this, but come August 15th, here is the objective, here is the goal, here's a routine that I'm going to start to follow, even though I'm still in the middle of my summer, I'm still traveling, I still have family members to balance, I'm still a mom, I'm still a wife, I still have a life outside of this business. I want you to start being honest with yourself about what you can handle, and be honest with yourself about getting help so that you can delegate and so that you can take some things off your plate so that you have more time to focus on the things that are absolutely necessary for you to do. So time management is something we're going to manage and maximize. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, you're going to get this right. You're going to master it. That's it. You're going to master time management over time, right? I don't want you to think that because you've listened to this podcast that instantly your life is going to change, because I'm teaching this podcast and I still have to constantly say, okay, you're getting behind on this. What is the plan for getting back on track and managing my time accordingly? So thank you guys for being with me. I want you to recognize that even when your life does not go as planned, time management is the key. And the first thing you have to do is set some goals. I'd love to hear from you guys. Definitely feel free to comment in the on Facebook or leave me messages on the business page. But you guys have a great day. It was awesome talking to you. Thanks for joining me for Win the Day. If you want to catch some of the previous episodes, you can go to the 100K Challenge Chick podcast. That's where you will find these different episodes. And you can find that podcast anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Have a great day. Bye.